guys, welcome back to Behind the Beat. Of course, I'm your host Brianna, and today we're here interviewing the lovely
Rachelle Show.
Yay!
Yeah.
And Rachelle, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your music career?
Yes. Well, I am a singer-songwriter here in the city of Toronto. Born in Mississauga, raised in Scarborough.
Okay.
But I did start my journey a little later in my life into the music industry as I took after my dad. And I have been navigating these streets of Toronto, the music scene, and it's been really interesting and so fruitful and blessed.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
You actually started your music journey at 10, correct?
No, I figured.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I realized I had a voice at 10, and I started at 20 to take it
Right.
serious.
Why 20? Like, what happened around that time?
Well, it was a pandemic, and as everyone did, I just decided, I'm gonna risk it all and just do it. And truthfully, I was going through a lot of personal stuff.
Right.
And I was actually in second year of university, and I said something in me just felt like this wasn't it. And my heart was always in the music, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna lay it all on the table. And I did it.
Did you have like any support in that decision, or was it just you?
I think it always boils down to you, but I definitely had a lot of validating things happen in my life. I always knew I had a voice.
Right.
And felt like it was God. I said, this is where you have to shift and listen.
Right.
I'm gonna make you listen. He made me listen. I was like, oh God.
And it's paying off.
It is, yeah. And I always knew that I was gonna be on this path. I just didn't understand how.
Right.
And when things just felt like the pressure was coming in a way that didn't feel right, I was like, okay, this is where I cut all my losses and just
go.
Try it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you start specifically during the pandemic when everything was locked and shut down? Was it like you started first with writing music, or how did it happen? So
I was going through a really tough time at that time. I was actually couch surfing between friends' homes. And it was a really tough time in my life. But I just decided to open up my laptop while everyone fell asleep. And
this happened like in the night.
In the night.
Okay.
Yeah. I just started writing poems. I said, okay. It was kind of like I put myself on this discipline, like, okay, just write words, whatever comes to your heart, even if it's bad, just write it out. And from there, I think before the pandemic closed, actually, I went to go see Obama speak at downtown at a convention center. It was like this conference. And Jessie Reyez was there, and I saw her singing, and I was like, okay, who is this?
Okay.
Yeah. And then somebody in my circle was just like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta study who's around you or your competition in the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that she was my competition at that time at all. No, but it was like, okay, everything shut down. You're gonna teach yourself how to write, because that's the bread and butter of everything.
Okay.
And then I did my research. I Googled her footstep, literally her blueprint.
With Jessie Reyez.
Yeah.
So like your first step to like beginning your music career was research. It was studying. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. And you said that you started out writing poems. So do you turn your poems into music? Do you still do that now?
Yeah, actually, like I see when I write, it's a lot of rhyming schemes and stuff, that pattern. And I'm like, oh, that's where it came from. Deep inside, back to the basics.
Okay. Another question for you.
Sure.
You're the daughter of Afro artist ShowDoMan, correct? So how does that influence play into your music now?
Well, now, so I started off as a pop R&B artist.
Okay.
And as the years went on and I started creating more, with different people, I felt a pull to kind of bring it back to my roots, which is my dad. My dad brought this infectious dance style called Rambasukus from Congo. He was very popular in the 80s. And yeah, so I feel like he's the reason why I do everything that I do. So
Really?
it just, yeah. He did pass away when I was 11, so that was always a driving factor for me. But yeah, I feel like now more than ever, I've started to implement Afro fusion into my music, and it just feels right. It's one of those moments again.
Okay. Was there sort of like any music that he would listen to while you were a kid that you sort of remember and you draw back to as well?
I don't remember that far.
Okay.
Yeah, funny enough, I just feel drawn to the music. But I did watch his documentary, and he was saying that he would always play music and I would dance with him. And there's like little videos of me dancing.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So I imagine it was definitely Congolese music that was being played, but a lot of like hip movements and like just getting your body moving.
Yeah.
And I always listen to his music too. I have it all on my phone. So
that's amazing. That's perfect. Okay, on to another question. Your music is deeply rooted in early 2000s pop and R&B, and you said you began with pop and R&B. Yeah. So what about that era resonates with you so deeply?
Well, that's all I grew up on. I grew up on BET.
You're like, that's my childhood, so.
That's all I knew. And I would always sit there and watch just the BET music videos, just go and go. And then when we got internet, when we got internet.
Do you feel like you're aging yourself right now? Or you're like, when we got internet.
Yeah, that was a really old thing to say. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like when I discovered YouTube, I was just on it. Like, insane, you know. I watched the music videos. I was like, okay.
That like was running YouTube back then. Music videos.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
That's all you went to YouTube for,
right?
Me and Beyonce music videos.
It was literally the Destiny Child. I was like, let me try. But it was always the upbeat music that drew me in, and that's why I say early 2000s, because my voice is definitely crafted towards that.
Right.
Regardless of where the sound of the music goes, my voice will always be rooted in that style of R&B.
Okay. Are there any like specific artists? Because you said Destiny's Child. Are they like a big inspiration for you, or are there like any other early 2000s artists that you're like, oh, I love them so much?
You know, it was definitely the Neos and the Ushers and the Marios.
Oh, so it was like the dudes doing like the backflips and like all those moves on stage. Okay, you saw them and you're like, I can do that.
I could do that. I could sing next to a window with rain. You know
what I mean?
Stop!
When you're driving like in the back of the car.
Yes,
and, like,
exactly.
It's raining.
Girl, I'm in a music video.
Stop. And that's when you got like the idea. You're like, I can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? My mom did play a lot of Jackson 5 and Whitney Houston.
Oh.
So that's where a lot of the belting and the like really melodic singing came from. But I was always into like the upbeat stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. And your recent single, Stranger, is your most popular song on Spotify right now. How do you feel about getting that continuous support from your fans and just even outsiders who are finding your music?
Honestly, it's community. Like, over the last 3 years, I have learned the value of who's behind you. You know?
Yes.
And like the support comes a lot from my peers and like everyone who's new that's coming in and supporting my music. Strangers, I'm like, literally there was a lot of thought and effort and community that went behind that song. And so much so that I didn't know what to do after. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it looks like, this is what it feels like. And that's literally my blood, sweat, and tears. And I was at my most vulnerable moment.
Really?
You know, yeah. Well, if you watch the video, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm smashing glass and whatnot. So, like, they're like I had a whole team around me, and I love them so much because they actually do care about me so much.
Yeah.
And they're like, I just want you to tell the truth.
And you did.
I did.
Do you think that's important for music in general when you're creating music, for you to tell the truth?
Yeah, I feel like music is a spiritual experience, and you can tell when it's not coming from the heart. You just feel it.
Yeah.
Even when you're in your car, like there's this like feeling that you get. Like it's just so, even if it's from the Sweeties and to the like Adele's, and you're crying about it, like you know it came from somewhere.
I agree. I feel like you can tell when you're listening to music that there's like an identity there almost that someone is pulling from and putting it into the song.
Yeah, exactly. And without it, like what, it's just words.
Yeah.
You know, words and song, like
and
music
nice
is always
a nice beat behind it.
It has to be, but it's always connected to an emotion, whether you're angry, happy, sad. You know, like music is always connected to that, so it has to come from the heart.
That's true. And you said community, that's been very important for you right now. Do you think that's the biggest thing in like an artist's career?
Yes.
Community?
Without community, I feel like you are nothing. We are just known to be a part of villages and like just people, meeting people. And at least where I come from the village. You know, my roots are rooted in the village of Africa. And I understand that I can't just do anything by myself. I can't do anything without God. What makes you think I can't do it without my peers?
True. That is, yeah. That's a word right there, guys. This one's a little bit harder. Okay. What challenges have you faced in the music industry, and are you still facing them now?
Yes. I feel like you're always going to come through hurdles. The music industry is a big beast. And you're dealing with a lot of personalities, a lot of different personalities. That you
like
have to...
in other artists or in fans or just in general?
I think, well, the tale is old as time of like the gatekeepers and the people that you have to please to get where you need to, rub elbows, rub shoulders with different people. But that's just the game, you know? The challenge is not giving up.
That's
because
true.
You're an entrepreneur. Like, you literally are a product, and you have to get up and put your makeup on and show up as your best self because you're dealing with people.
And does that get tiring, or is it something like you're just gonna dig your heels in and just do it?
I think if anyone tells you that, it's just like, that's a lie, because we're human.
Yeah.
And to be on go all the time is not realistic. That's where community comes in. That's where they pick you up when you're down.
So that's why you need the support, so you can actually continue going and not burn out.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten close to burning out?
Several times.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like pictures aren't always what they seem, but you really have to take care of what's in here, because outside of everything, you're still going to sleep with yourself at the end.
Girl, you were so, come on, like you got like the wisdom of like an 80-year-old woman. What are these like quotes and like I'm learning a lot right now, guys. Oh my gosh.
That came from a lot of self-work though. And in those moments that I did touch on earlier in this interview, where I literally had to sit down and put pen to paper and decide what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be.
Right.
That took a lot of courage, but a lot of work, because I'm only a product of my upbringing and my experiences in life.
Right.
And the characters that you run into, you have to really understand how to work with people. There's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
I read that during that time, and it was really about just being a people person, understanding how to move in different scenarios,
right,
to really get what you want, to be honest. It's a mind game, but that's the strength of every entrepreneur, right?
And you got to work for it.
Yeah, you do. And nothing in this life comes for free.
Very true.
It's not going to land on your lap. I thought it was going to. It did not.
You're like, this is going to be easy. Yeah. It's going to be like a year tops. That's all. That's all I need to do.
Imagine me young. I said, I could sing better than anybody in this class right now. Girl, you know, you're a big fish in a small pond right now. There's a big pond and you're a little fish.
Very true. Especially like, this is just like Toronto. Then like once you start leaving Toronto and you start meeting like even more artists, it's like, oh, oh, okay, I'll try to catch up here.
Yeah, you feel like you're behind, and that's where it's a mental game, because like you just gotta stay on. You gotta. It's always about making the right moves.
Yeah.
Like you're an entrepreneur. That goes for every field.
And you also like spoke about learning to become more yourself. Do you think that you are who you want to be right now?
No. I don't think. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of personalities that I have to kill in myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Kill is a strong word.
Well, you know, when you grow up in trauma, there's a lot of things that you do to protect yourself that don't really work in the real world. Like you can't be so reactive. You can't jump. You can't not trust people and harden yourself. You know, you always have to be open and willing to try new things. And sometimes it's scary to do that because it doesn't feel safe.
Definitely.
But that's because of what you've experienced in life. And that's the person I want to kill. I want to kill the person that talks down to myself, tells me that I'm not good enough. Because those are the words that I was hearing.
Really?
When I was young. Yeah.
What?
And you adopt that though. And that's the voice that you hear. Like people's voice. I'm in therapy. I'm in therapy, and I think it's so important. And to just like hold the mirror up to yourself and realize where certain things come from. And I use the strong word of kill because I know I'm a kind person. I know that I care and whatnot, but these voices, the voices, or I say the voices of what you've heard in your life always come up.
That's true.
You know?
That's true, especially when it's in childhood. It gets like ingrained almost, and they sound like factual.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. These voices don't even sound like they're trying to lie to you.
Yeah.
Or that they're trying to trick you. They sound like they're telling you the truth.
Yeah. It feels like the truth, and it could literally be a teacher that one time said, "Could have done better on that." Rachelle, you could have done better on that, you know?
And that's like all the help that they offer. And it's like, well, could you like show me, or are you just gonna say that and then walk away?
Exactly. You kind of have to clean up what's going on inside, and that's why I feel like doing the work is so important, because we all have a story. We all have different upbringings and generational trauma that may or may not have been passed down. I don't know what happened to my mom, my grandma, my great-great-grandma that I hold, you know? So do the work.
Yeah. And do you think that when you do the work, that it's going to take like the rest of your life? Or do you think at one point you'll be done?
I think because as humans, we're always changing and growing. The work will never be done. But as long as you stay rooted in what you know is right and your own intuition, I feel like it's great. I think it's beautiful to continue to grow. Like I'm not always gonna be 26-year-old Rachelle just in my own little world, you know. Eventually I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be a mom. I'm gonna be a wife. I'm gonna hold so many different personalities and different roles, and I do have to grow, and I want to.
I mean, that's amazing. That's like a beautiful outlook on life, like always being willing to grow and change and like adapt. I think it's people who like just want to stay the same that end up, getting stuck, sort of.
Yeah.
But not you.
You know what? I do have those tendencies, That's another one that I have to kill.
But see, this is growth, like being able to admit that you have those tendencies.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You're right.
Still, I see a good future for you.
Thank you.
But I want to know, what do you see in your own future?
I will always remain optimistic. I see myself traveling the world and sharing my music. I want to go on a world tour. I cannot wait to just be in different rooms and live life to its fullest. I feel like this life is meant to be lived at its highest potential, and why can't I have it?
Of course.
And I've watched my mom do it, so.
Lovely. Yeah. Well, thank you, Rachelle, for answering these questions and being with us here today, and also sharing like incredible words of wisdom, guys. I need like a pen and paper to write this stuff down. I'm literally gonna watch this back and be like, yes.
That part, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Behind the Beat with
Rachelle Show.
Yay! Bye, guys.
Bye.